This ability to converse with animals is impressive, isn't it? Today's story comes from an anonymous netizen who wishes to remain unnamed. Let's call him Jasmine. When Jasmine was 19, he encountered a one-eyed stray cat outside, a cat that didn't seem too young or too old. Jasmine felt a close affinity with it. Coincidentally, Jasmine had an old cat at home that had been kept for 12 years. Thinking the old cat was too lonely, he brought the one-eyed cat home to keep. That night, he heard the old cat talking to the one-eyed cat. The old cat said, "Do you have to harm this family?" The one-eyed cat replied, "This is what they owe me, none of your business." Then the two cats went from arguing to biting each other, and even the birds outside the window started talking. Wow, this is quite troublesome. When people found Jasmine, he abruptly sat up from his bed. It turned out he had a nightmare, but he found the old cat was very hostile towards the one-eyed cat. Every time the one-eyed cat tried to get close to Jasmine or be alone with Jasmine, the old cat's reaction was particularly strong. However, knowing that cats have territorial instincts, Jasmine didn't pay much attention to it. He could hear the cats arguing every night. He always heard them but couldn't open his eyes, move but couldn't wake up. It was hard to describe this feeling. He didn't know if it was a dream or real, but he became listless until one morning a week later. Jasmine woke up, moved his arm subconsciously, and found he could move. After making sure he was awake, he suddenly heard two voices talking outside the window in a daze. One voice said, "Ah, this little girl is doing this and hasn't noticed the problem." Another voice came, "At first glance, this is not an ordinary matter." Jasmine walked to the window following the sound, pushed open the window, and saw two birds perched on a branch. But what I just heard was not bird chirping, but talking. Jasmine was confused all at once and asked, "Are you talking about me?" The two birds were scared off directly, shouting, "He can hear, let's go." Jasmine was dumbfounded, suspecting he was sick, and quickly called his dad. Soon, his parents rushed back home from work. After confirming Jasmine's condition, his father bowed his head and pondered for a long time. Finally, he told Jasmine a story that sounded like a fairy tale. It turned out that the ability to talk to animals was a skill that their family had originally. But the last person with this ability was Jasmine's grandfather. Jasmine's father was born after the founding of the People's Republic of China. At that time, his fourth uncle and his family fled to other provinces. Dad didn't know much about his grandfather's past. He only knew that Jasmine's grandfather never needed to see a person, nor did he need to ask for directions. He learned to imitate bird calls everywhere, but no animals responded to him, and he never got lost. Now this happened to Jasmine, and there was only one person to wait for. Who is this person? The bad old man. Every year when Jasmine's birthday comes, the old man would come, and his parents respected him very much. Jasmine has always called him Uncle John. It is said that he and Jasmine's grandfather were sworn brothers. After waiting for 2 days, Uncle John finally arrived at Jasmine's home. After understanding the whole story, the old man sighed and asked where the cat was now. After searching for a while, it was found in a corner under Jasmine's bed, watching outside vigilantly. Then the old man took out a jade pendant from his arms, asked Jasmine to wear it, and then commanded, "You stand at the door and help me communicate with the cat." Jasmine said, "I can't talk to cats, Grandpa." But Grandpa smiled, "Don't be afraid, you are born to do it. Wait a moment, I will make it talk, and you just need to translate." Then the old man closed the door, and only heard the old man say inside, "Why are you following him? Nothing has happened. I am from the old Zhang family, I will try my best to help you. Jasmine stood where his parents were slightly supporting, leaning against the door. He suddenly heard another voice coming from inside. Can you control it? Grandpa owes me a debt. This voice was the voice of the one-eyed cat in the dream. Then I heard the old man say, you just say that I have reported my house. If I can't do it, you have a way to pester me. So, the one-eyed cat told the story of that year. It turned out that Jasmine and her grandfather's special ability was given when her grandfather was young. They have long had an agreement with some spiritual animals at home. They would send a letter to Grandpa to inquire about the news, etc., and Grandpa would ensure their safety and some range of support. At that time, the country was in turmoil, and many animals were affected by the war. Then this mountain cat found Jasmine's grandfather from the mountain. He knew that a great disaster was coming, and he wanted to ask Jasmine's grandfather to find a treasure land for him to take him there. Grandpa promised at the time, but the situation was turbulent, and many things were not determined by individuals. It was difficult for Grandpa to protect himself at the time. How could he fulfill his promise then? At the end of the disaster, the mountain cat was still waiting for Grandpa nearby. As a result, it was discovered. Those people surrounded and captured him. His eye was shot by an arrow while hiding, and finally lost his body in despair. After listening, Uncle John was silent for a long time, and finally said, then I will take you away, and I will try my best to meet your conditions. Our two families are old friends, and the old man said when he left, his granddaughter is my granddaughter, I can't sit by and do nothing. You have now damaged this child's body, which is delicate. After a while of silence, there was a strange sound of footsteps in the room, which was not the footsteps of a kitten at all. I felt that the claws and soles of the feet were particularly large. After that, there was a strange cry from inside. Jasmine couldn't understand the sound at the time, but he heard Uncle John say a good word. After I promised, the door opened. The old man was holding a diamond jade, and the one-eyed kitten was playing in the corner. At this time, the old cat at home also took a look, and it was no longer as hostile as before. The old man walked to the living room and sat down, saying that the mountain cat was already here with him, and now it is just an ordinary cat. Then, he happily said to Jasmine, "Daughter, it's okay. However, the ability to recover language is a trouble for you. Come back to the old house with me, and let's get this matter done." In the end, the whole family accompanied the old man to their old house. Jasmine didn't say the specific operation, but later Jasmine could no longer hear the conversation of animals. But maybe Jasmine's descendants will have this ability, who knows. Well, if this story is true, I really envy the person with this ability to sit at home and understand the world. Well, see you next story.